No.
It looks like a prison shot.
Well, hi everybody on the internet. We're in the middle of Okay, there she's back.
Did you hear what I said, Melanie?
What?
I said the way you were frozen there, it looked like a prison shot.
Everyone on the internet.
Everyone on the internet knows that.
Well, welcome back to 2022. We're back together, this lovely bunch, doing Bible study. And we're coming back and we're going to start talking about some other religions and maybe even getting into other denominations as we move forward of the Protestant religions. I hope your holidays were nice. I'm glad we were all able to celebrate, and I hope you're keeping yourself well. The sickness seems to be about, so I hope everyone's doing okay from that. I'm going to pass the torch to Pastor Diane.
Pass the torch. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I've put together a couple of PowerPoint slides on the different faiths. I thought if you're going to talk about different denominations within the Christian church, I ought to first have some inkling of the faiths, the Abrahamic faiths. So, Melanie, do you want to put our slide up there and we'll just talk about these a little? Hopefully it won't be a lecture. Hopefully you all can
there you go.
see Melanie's making it a little big.
There it is.
Well, obviously Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all have the same root. They all come from Abraham. And this talks about the names for God, first of all, Yahweh and Elohim, right? Then in Christianity, it's God, and Yahweh comes from the breath. It's supposed to be spoken like a breath.
Huh.
And it's the name of God. Then you have the Holy Trinity for, those of us who believe in the Trinity. And the Islam, the Muslims call God Allah. They have holy books. The Judaisms in the book is broken down into the Torah, which is the law, the Nevi'im, which is the prophets, and I guess it's the Kevitim. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. And those are the writings. And the Christianity starts with the same books that the Jewish faith does, right? We have the Torah, which are the laws and the prophets. Remember when we say that Jesus came to fulfill the laws and the prophets? Well, those are the writings from those particular books. And then, of course, in the New Testament, we have the Gospels and the Pauline writings, etc., like that. In Islam, see, they have some of the same, the Pentateuch, which is the Nevi'im, the Tivuim, and then the Gospels and the Quran. If you're ever curious about the Quran, you can come into my office. I have several copies. But this is where it starts to get good. Let's talk about the vision that they have for human nature. Judaism feels that there are two equal impulses, one toward good, one toward evil. I think that's part of us too. We believe in people having a tendency toward evil because of the original sin. Now, as time is going on, I think many Christian denominations are getting away from the idea of original sin, more like we are immature Christians, immature people that we have to learn our faith. So we started out as children in kindergarten, and we have to learn that. And Islam feels that we have the equal ability to do good and evil. Anybody want to comment on any of that? Seems like this good and evil thing is part of all of our faith.
Yeah. Is it more than semantics to say, I wasn't quite aware of the movement away from original sin in many of the Protestant faiths. I mean, or am I overemphasizing that?
Well, no, in some of the Christian denominations these days, and if you want a good read, I can give you one time that talks about all of these things, because
Yeah,
some
it's-
of them, the original sin is the spot that Adam and Eve, basically what they did, polluted the relationship between God and man.
Right.
Right. And it wasn't very long after that, Adam and Eve, the serpent, evil into the
Right.
world.
Yeah.
There is also in the first books of the Bible, there in the Genesis, it also is where the first mention of Christ, where it says that God will send someone, I'm not quite sure the semantics, to crush the head of the serpent. I don't know where that is. It's in the book of Genesis
Right.
at the very beginning, where he's telling Adam about all of these things. Here it is. This is Genesis 3, and it says, I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel, right? So
Right.
the human person will strike the head of Satan. That's the idea of it. So that's
Well-
our first hint thinks of that.
Jesus would ultimately be the one to do that, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
the first inkling of Jesus in the Bible.
Right.
So we're talking now about factors for humankind's salvation. Judaism, believing in God, following in the law, and performing good deeds, right? So you can see Jesus all over that, how he talked about the Pharisees following the law and not moving one side to the right or to the left of it, and how they think that it is in good deeds that you win your salvation. In Christianity, we believe in God. We believe in following the laws, the 10 Commandments. We do believe in performing for good deeds as well, but also following the sacraments. Islam, believing in God, following the law, performing good deeds, and they follow the 5 pillars of Islam. Melanie, you want to do some Googling on the 5 pillars of Islam?
Sure.
To help me, in Judaism, like where is it in the Old Testament where they say like blanketly do good deeds? Because I feel like a lot of the beginning, a lot of the laws and stuff have all been what you should do, and I don't know, does that necessarily like just say do good deeds?
Oh, no, the laws are specific in the first few
Yeah.
books of the Bible. There's not just do good deeds.
Well, I mean,
It's
you just
following the law.
following the law. I
Following
mean,
the law, which is
it felt like the Pharisees followed the law, but they weren't necessarily performing good deeds by any stretch.
no. We're not only talking about the Pharisees here.
Yeah.
We're talking about the whole of the Judaism religion.
Yeah, I think I've always seen the split from between Protestantism and Catholicism. I mean, I grew up as a Catholic, and at least back then, I would bet they still do now. Well, you get the impression that how do you get to heaven is mostly through good deeds. But the Protestant faith, as I understand it, is not about good deeds, but about the only way to get to heaven is to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And good deeds are a manifestation of that personal relationship. But those themselves won't do the trick as far as getting in the door.
Yeah, and those splits came back with Luther and stuff in the 1500s. Remember Luther, how he used to flog himself because he felt that he was a miserable soul and that he could never earn his way to a relationship with God. And then finally he had the sola gratia, which is only by grace.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the 5 pillars?
I am indeed.
Okay, all Islamic people are expected to do the following. They have a profession of faith, which is called Shahada. There is no God but God, and Muhammad is the messenger of God. That is a central belief. Then there is prayer, which is called Salat, and they must pray facing Mecca 5 times a day at dawn, noon, mid-afternoon, sunset, and after dark. And then there's like a whole thing to go with the prayer. Then there's the alms, which is called zakat, and they donate a fixed portion of their income to community members in need. And many rulers and wealthy Muslims build mosques, drinking fountains, hospitals, schools, and other institutions, both as religious duty and to secure the blessings associated with charity. Then there's fasting, which is called Psalm. And during the daylight hours of Ramadan, the ninth month of the Islamic calendar, all healthy adult Muslims are required to abstain from food and drink. And because of this temporary deprivation, they're renewing their awareness of and gratitude for everything God has provided in their lives.
Mhm.
And
Whole month?
yeah. And during
Wow.
Ramadan, they share the hunger and thirst of the needy as a reminder of the religious duty to help those less fortunate.
Wow.
The fifth one is their pilgrimage, which is called a Hajj. And every Muslim whose health and finances permit it must make at least one visit to the holy city of Mecca in present-day Saudi Arabia.
Mhm.
Now, Brad's had some students over the years that go through Ramadan, and I think they eat, but it's like certain things, and it's only after dark. They can't eat during the day. Yep, that's what he's confirming that
They
here.
will need time to go rest during the day because getting very weak.
Yeah, he said they'll often need time to rest during the day because they're very weak from lack of nutrients. So there you go.
Okay. So next is one of the biggies, the hereafter for good people. Now in Judaism, it says the heaven, the soul resurrection, or no afterlife. Right?
Mhm.
Christianity, heaven and soul resurrection. And Islam is heaven.
I thought, I'm far from an expert in this, but I thought ultimately there would be bodily resurrection in Christianity, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like after all the revelation things.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
I mean, but bodies are kind of a pain, certainly at my age anyway.
Yeah.
A new body in heaven.
Well, yeah,
we
we're
can-
taught that there's a new heaven and a new earth going to
Yeah.
come. Yes, we are, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, hereafter for the bad people. Judaism, eternal hell, reincarnation or no afterlife. Christianity, eternal hell, and temporary purgatory if you're a Catholic. I don't know where they ever came up with this idea of purgatory, but
I do.
clearly, well, that's what I was going to say. But clearly they used it throughout their history. So, Tim, enlighten us.
Well, some cynics, and I think there's a lot of truth to this, sadly, would say that the purgatory, they used to actually sell, what do they call them?
Indulgences.
Yeah,
Indulgences.
And so even though it wasn't in the Bible, and this sounds pretty critical of the Catholic Church, so anybody's welcome to challenge me. But even though it wasn't in the Bible, purgatory served as a means to scare people and to sell indulgences, so you could buy your way out of purgatory if you gave so much money over to the Catholic Church.
Mhm.
Anyway, I think that's what it was all about. To my knowledge, that's the only thing it was all about.
Well, yeah, that's sort of what I thought. But there is some, how should we say, some
Is there anything-
satisfaction, I believe, in getting some comeuppance in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've always thought of that myself. I wouldn't want to spend eternity in hell, but I think a day or two to make me out might not hurt.
What
No,
do you have
don't
any?
tell too many people I said that. But
okay, yeah.
Do you have any insight to Judaism's the reincarnation or the no afterlife section of like that. That was one of the two items in the list.
I think we'll do a little work on that. Melanie, just
Okay.
switch quickly to the third slide, if you will. No,
That one?
no, there's not. Okay.
This one?
No, that doesn't give you any information on that at all. So let's do some work on that more. You want to look at Judaism in respect to, go back to the first then. Yep, there you got it. In respect to more widen their idea of the hereafter. Is that what you want to say?
Yeah, basically, it's like the
Oh,
no
reincarnation or
afterlife
no afterlife.
yeah, reincarnation seems like such an like Hinduism. Is it Hinduism type of property? And
Mhm. Yeah.
no afterlife seems really like bleak.
Well, that's what we talked about when the Sadducees, did you remember the Pharisees and the Sadducees? They used to say the Sadducees are sad, you see, because they don't believe in it. They didn't believe in afterlife.
Now here's something I just brought up. I said,
I was going to say, yeah, go ahead, Melanie.
I asked what the Judaism reincarnation believes. And basically, this is very basic. Judaism believes in an afterlife, but has very little dogma about it. The Jewish afterlife is called Olam Haba, the world to come. Resurrection and reincarnation are within the range of traditional Jewish belief. Temporary, but not eternal punishment after death is within traditional belief. So I'm going to look up reincarnation here. The Jewish understanding of reincarnation is different from Buddhist doctrines. It in no way leads to fatalism. At every point of moral decision in his life, a Jew has complete free choice. If not for freedom of choice, how unfair it would be of God to make demands of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll keep looking here because
Okay.
I'm curious about the whole reincarnation thing too. Ooh, I just popped on this huge picture that starts an article. Let's see. You can keep talking and I'll keep reading here.
Okay, well, when it comes to the identity of Jesus, the Jewish faith believes that he was only a rabbi, not the Messiah. The Christianities believe he was a prophet of God, a Messiah, the Son of God, and the high priest. All of those for us. Islam believes he was a prophet of God, not messiahship, if I'm mistaken, although there's a note there that's missing. The Jews deny Christ's resurrection. The Christians, of course, they affirm it, and the Muslims, they deny it. The second coming, I guess the Christians and the Jews or the Muslims are going to be together with us. The Jews, I guess. Okay. Positions on other Abrahamic traditions. And this is curious to me. Christianity and Islam are misinterpretations and extensions of Judaism. And that comes way back from original when Christ was there. Christianity thinks Judaism is an authentic religion, but with incomplete revelation, and Islam is a non-authentic doctrine. And the Muslim faith says Jews and Christians are people of the book, but with erroneous beliefs and partial revelation.
Okay. Oh boy, this is depressing, Tony. You ready?
Yep, let's go.
Here's a Jewish belief on reincarnation. First of all, our souls are made up of 5 parts. 2 of the parts are tucked away in heavenly realms, which means they are still attached to you and can still influence you spiritually, but your bad actions or behavior can't tarnish or damage those bits. The other three pieces of your soul are the ones that you're working on here on earth. However, it gets more complex. All 5 levels also have 5 levels, which means you have 25 soul levels.
Wow.
And in order to make it to heaven, you have to be able to fix all 25 levels of your soul. And it's so complex that you really only get to work on one level of your soul per lifetime. So most people will have to come back a minimum of 25 times and live a lifetime for each time before they've completely sorted out their souls and can go to heaven.
Ish.
Wow, that's depressing.
Sounds like-
That's got some echoes of Buddhism in it, right?
Yeah, that sounds like the monks, you know, that are that are praying.
So at this point, according to Jewish belief, there are no new or complete souls. Every single one of us is an old soul made up of different bits of different people from the past.
I wonder how that accounts for the growth of the exponential growth of the population, in the past.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we have like maybe our 25 bits are strewn out against 25 people. I don't know.
Okay, but then it also says viewpoints vary,
Yes.
right? Viewpoints vary. They believe in heaven and soul resurrection or no afterlife.
Hey,
And there's,
you're dead,
there's
what
all
that means?
kinds of different there's Orthodox Judaism, there's Reformed Judaism,
Yeah.
There's all
I have a
kinds of
question
that.
about that afterlife thing. Does that mean like when we're dead, we're dead?
I am not a Jew, so I cannot tell
Well,
you.
you guys shouldn't
Well,
be
that's
depressed
what I'm
about it.
doing.
As Christians, we shouldn't be depressed about what the Jews think.
It's
Yeah.
sad for me to think that people feel
well.
like they're going to come back 25 times. How
Feel
how
bad for them.
discouraging that must be.
Yeah.
All right. There isn't
Hard pill to swallow, I
anything.
imagine.
Okay, I asked, what do Jews think about the afterlife? There isn't anything after life because Jews believe that life never ends. It just goes higher and higher. So in the afterlife, the soul is liberated from the body and returns closer to her source than ever before. I guess that's why we have to keep coming back over and over.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's interesting stuff though, right?
it
Oh,
is.
it
It's just
is. It's very
complicated.
Interesting, interesting stuff.
It is.
Well, I don't know if you want to touch this, Pastor Diane. Here's a touchy subject. Does the Quran really advocate the killing of non-Islamics? I'm just wondering that. You don't have to answer that question.
Well,
What about the Quran? Quran
does it advocate the killing of people who are not
Yeah.
of the Islamic faith?
Yeah, you hear back and forth on that. And of course, who knows?
does it?
Yeah, and I think
There-
there's radicalism in Islam as well,
Yeah.
Yeah, Islam is a peace-driven religion overall, but then you're going to have the radicals.
Yeah. So in
Yeah,
general, I would say, the Islamic people are peace-loving, kind people, but it's just like some
Yeah.
are off the rails. Yeah.
Is it true the Quran is not translated?
I don't
don't
know.
If you have copies in your office. I mean, are those in English?
I don't know. I didn't look.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, my understanding was that it's if part of the religion, you shouldn't read it. You shouldn't read a translation. Like you have to read
The original.
Oh.
Well, that's the same in all scriptures. I mean, one of the things I remember is you remember it said, all people shall bow before God. But when you look in the original script, it says all people should bow before God. And there is that's a big difference. So maybe that's where the whole thing is coming from, that you actually have to look by the original to get the true
It's like
words.
the Bible. The Bible has so many different translations, and sometimes it's very different from the original depending on who translated it.
Yeah.
The Quran has very many translations. It sounds like almost as much as the Bible. So yes, it's translated.
So they can translate the Quran. I didn't think they were allowed to translate the Quran.
I didn't. Oh, really? They can.
Mhm.
Realize that.
You can buy it on eBay.
Oh, really?
Amazon.
In any language? Okay.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I know that you probably could. It's just I thought it was like it's
Now
sort of
they
like
feel-
drawing a picture of Muhammad, which is like forbidden.
Yeah, representation. Yeah.
It's a taboo.
Now they're going to say the only true Quran is the Arabic one,
Right.
which has never been changed, but it has been translated
Okay.
so that people can read it.
Yeah, and you can see the Jewish faith sometimes when they're writing God, they'll put the G, then a space, then a D. They
Huh.
don't
Yeah,
write it out either. So
that's why that one thing I just read about the Judaism, it was G/D.
Yep.
They're like God.
Mhm. And that's one of the reasons that the other faiths talk about us worshiping many gods is our belief in the Trinity.
Right.
They'll look at the Trinity and say we believe in three gods, not one.
Right.
So then they think our faith is not legitimate.
Right.
Okay. Melanie, let's flip over to the second one just to see what we can surmise from that to sort of analyze. This Venn diagram talks about, well, let's talk about the commonality. One God, the God of Abraham, opening holy scriptures. Jerusalem is the holy city and in covenant with Moses and all the prophets prior to Jesus, and fasting, right? So the Christians, we have our day of rest on Sunday. The Muslims have their rest day on Friday, and the Jews have theirs on Saturday. Okay. Yep. The Jews have 713 commandments in all. That's a lot. And we have a covenant with Jesus. I mean, early we believe in the 10 commandments, don't get me wrong, but we also believe that, God is in our hearts. I shall be their God and they shall be my people, right?
Right.
Mhm.
No alcohol for the Nazarites. That was what Samson was. He was he a Danite? Anyway. Major divisions in Christians is Roman Catholics, Orthodox Catholics, and Protestants. And our foundational is the sacraments, whereas, like we said, the Muslims is the pillar of 5 pillars of Islam, and in the Jews, it's the Torah, study of the Torah.
I have a Catholic question. And Tim, you're a resident Catholic.
Yes,
Yeah,
it-
Take what you get.
And well, we see Jesus as the Son of God born in human form. Does Catholicism see Jesus the same way?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. I just wasn't sure because I know that they pray to Mary. So
Well, actually,
think-
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, absolutely.
okay,
Yep.
I was
You
just confused.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, actually, I was looking at the thing just about the Jews as majority. I'd forgotten about this sect. Is that the word, sector of Jews? For a majority of Jews, for the majority of them, Jesus is not the Messiah. That's true. I forgot. There is a contingent of Jews. What do they call them?
Jews for Jesus.
Yeah. Well, Jews for Jesus. I thought there was a more official name, but yeah. So I'd forgotten about them.
I like that. Jews for Jesus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they think he was just an ordinary Jewish man who was a prophet. And
The Jews. Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely. And of course, Muslims they're the new covenant with Muhammad, God's covenant with that. Christians are with Jesus, and the Jews, They like their commandments. I want, and I could see the ultra Orthodox Jews, how much different they are than the reformers. I mean, I've had a few reformers in my life, and one boss used to go to how should we say, all the burger places and have all kinds of things on whenever he wanted to. Few sausages here and there, but
Yeah.
so it's the same. It's the same. And we talk about denominations and how they all come to, we'll talk about that more in Christianity. But basically, there's a belief that one group of them holds, which the other cannot abide or follow, and then that causes the split. And there have been many, many of those splits, as we'll find in the Christian denominations. Okay, Melanie, I think we have one more slide here on this one. And this is the comparison, right? Only, of course, the three major religions. Judaism, it's less than 0.25% are Jews in the world. 31% are Christians, and almost 25% are Muslims. We don't know, of course, when Judaism was founded. We know that Christianity as a faith was founded around 100 CE. You could argue 33 CE based upon the birth of Christ. And Islam, 500 years later, 622. The place it was founded, Judaism was Palestine, Christianity, Palestine in Rome, and Islam in Saudi Arabia. The ideologues in Judaism are Abraham and Moses. We believe Jesus, and the Muslims believe in Muhammad. The original languages, Greek. In Christianity, it was Aramaic and Greek. In Jesus' time, they spoke Aramaic. They spoke Greek when came in and took over the area. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. I can't forget, or I can't remember. Who was the Greek guy? Who was the Greek guy that
Timothy? Or was it
no? Oh my God, it's a thing. I can't believe I don't believe that. Look that up, Melanie, because I'll be awake all night till I know.
Who am I asking? Who was the Greek man?
Who took over the Holy Lands? Yeah,
during the beginning of the Acts, isn't it? Where
that turned them into Greeks, and then that was
not Constantinople, not Constantinople.
No.
King Ptolemy? No.
Oh, sounds Greek.
Yeah.
Alexander the Great.
Oh,
Alexander. Okay.
Can I interject a quick joke?
Yeah.
Sure.
What were the name of the two famous Greek tailors?
I don't know.
Euripides and Eumenides.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. I thought you might like that.
Humanities. That's pretty good.
I always liked it.
Yeah. The expansion of the faith for Judaism originally expands and confined to Palestine. Christianity, within 60 years, there were churches in major cities in Palestine, Turkey, and Greece, and by the end of the 4th century, the entire Roman Empire, Catholics. In Islam, within 12 years, the entire Arabian Peninsula. Within 100 years, Muslims world stretched from the Atlantic to China.
I'm thinking maybe.
I was thinking if that was like a misquote.
Yeah.
Major splits in Judaism, you have Orthodox, Conservative, and Reformed. Roman Catholics and Orthodox, and there's Protestantism, which has a whole group of denominations underneath it. And Islam is Shia and Sunni. Can't speak today. So we did that pretty quick. It's 7:35. I hesitate to go into the major Christian denominations because about half of us aren't here. and particularly Roxy, who was one of the ones that wanted to study this to start with.
I'm glad you're
she
going to
had a
do that.
doctor appointment that was late.
Well, what do we have this? What is there to say about Mormonism, which seems to be like like a newer? Is that part of Christianity, or is that like another circle coming off of Christianity or something?
Well, I think we'll call on our resident Googler for that.
Mormons, let's see here. All right. Mormons believe, let's see, they're called the Latter-day Saints.
Mhm.
It was founded less than 200 years ago by Joseph Smith,
Yep.
and he claimed to be visited by God and Jesus, who told him that all churches and their creeds were an abomination. So he was going to create a new one. So he set out to restore true Christianity and claimed his church to be the only true church on earth. So no, I'd say it's not an offshoot of us.
That's kind of like,
The problem with Mormonism, and this is just, somebody's hearsay here, is that it contradicts, modifies, and expands on the Bibles. And Christians do not have a reason to believe a Bible is untrue or inadequate. So there
Yeah,
you go.
there's a Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Yes, they have their own little book.
well, they believe in, one choir, and I didn't realize this until I was older, but I always used to, and I still like to listen to the Mormon Tabernacle Choir at Christmas.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And so they are certainly believers in Jesus, but to what extent and to his divinity, I don't know.
I have a few friends whose families are Mormon. They are not, but it seems to me they believe in Jesus, but they also have a lot of man-made rules. And their whole thing is to try to convert everybody they know into being a Mormon.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's like their lifelong goal.
Yeah.
And they've got very strict dress code and roles, and they even have temples that only certain people can go into, and you can only go in if you're being married within the Church of Mormon, or there's like 2 instances you can ever go into the temple. So, and women have zero ability to have any power or teaching roles within the church.
And they're
But they do have their own relief society, so they're allowed to help raise money.
All right. Well, are they typically polygamists?
Is that who's polygamous? I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
There's a whole TV show on it. And I think the major religions no, but like there's a bunch of the bunch that split off that still do, I guess.
Okay, here we go. Mormons
So,
were members of
there's
the
a whole
Church
TV
of
show about that.
Latter-day Saints. They do not practice polygamy. However, during a
they don't.
50-year period of Mormon history, it was commanded by the Lord through his prophets. So I don't know. It looks like,
I think I remember hearing that there's always like a prophet on earth at any one time that's essentially dictating like how the Mormon religion goes.
There's various denominations of fundamentalist Mormonism, and they continue to practice polygamy. So yes, there are parts of Mormons who practice polygamy, but not as a whole.
Not for me. One boss is enough for me.
Yeah, seriously. It's crazy.
Oh, we have some members of our church whose roots are from Mormonism.
Is that right?
Yeah. And Martha, I believe, right? Was one.
Oh, really? Martha?
No, she was Mennonite.
Mennonite. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anne Marie and Morgan came from Mormon families. And I have a good friend who I hang out with a lot, and her dad became Mormon.
So I would say that Mormonism is not probably one of the major Christian denominations, but if we have more curiosity about them, I will include them in some of the work that we're doing.
Oh, we should. It's interesting.
Well, I'm glad you're doing the Protestant religions because I've never really been all that clear on what the differences I mean, I've always viewed the differences primarily in the Protestant denominations as primarily how they do their worship service. But I'm sure there's more to it than that. I don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess
they have, it's a lot of tradition. I mean, I know that when the United Church of Christ was being created way back when, the disciples of Christ, we asked them to join us, but they didn't because they like the Lutheran practice of serving communion every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as far as the Catholics, of course, they look at the holy sacraments as completely different. As a matter of fact, some of the Christian, we have a couple of sacraments, right? Some of them look at marriage as a sacrament.
Yeah, the Catholic.
We don't. We have Holy Communion and baptism. So there are different differences that way and
Right.
in some of their beliefs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we'll enjoin Mormonism in the Protestant baptism. Calvinism is pretty interesting too. I like the Calvinist view of Holy Communion, actually, because the Catholics believe that the body, the elements actually become the body and the blood of Christ. Now, we're not talking representations, we're talking actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh man, that's just ugh.
yeah. Well, and that led some religions to say that we were basically cannibals.
Yeah.
So we have that look at it. We have the Calvinists, and that's, I believe that the Holy Spirit imbues the elements, and then we have the Holy Spirit within the elements that really communes with our spirit when we take Holy Communion. When it comes to the United Church of Christ in general, they believe in do this in remembrance. So it's more like a memory thing of that. So we do that when we say the faith, do this in remembrance of me. But
Well,
Calvin, I like the idea of the Holy Spirit being part of it myself.
Oddly, that's what part of the Catholic service, it used to be anyway. They still include that, do this in remembrance of me. But you're right, they consider the elements to be the physical body and blood.
Yep. And that's from Luther. He says in the Bible, it says, unless you partake or unless you eat my body and my blood.
Yeah.
And that's why they do that. You know, the Lutherans do the same thing, I would say.
Huh.
There's some ways to look at that. We will talk about how the different faiths and when they came to be. We'll probably do a general overall look at the different faiths, much like we did the three. You know what I mean? And then the ultimate goal was to do what we did, to say they believe this and we believe something else, and how that all differs and how the differences came to be. So that's going to be a little work on our behalf if we're going to do it and ultimately understand it. And we might ultimately just publish our own sort of, I don't want to call it a cheat sheet, but a refer back to sheet, so that this information, once put in our brain, isn't forgotten.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. So we will not meet next week because I'll be on
She's on
vacation.
vacation.
Think of me on Thursday when I have this next Thursday. I think it's the 11th or something, 2 Thursdays from now, when I have my echocardiogram.
That's next Thursday.
Yeah. So
We will.
we'll do good. And don't forget
Pray.
always to pray for the church and the absence and total annihilation of that word COVID.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
Tony, you can talk us off the air.
Yep. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. My first Bible study of 2022, and hopefully the first of many. Hope that you can join us. We're going to be meeting virtually for our service this coming week, and then next week we're going to take another hiatus as Pastor Diane has vacation, and hopefully we can meet up again after that. and we can study some of the denominations that the Protestant faith has created. So until next time, thanks for joining us. Bye.